Before I join the party, I'm going to say that this is a court session. It's going to be a short stream. It's basically just going to be an episode for you to watch. And I'm going to review the evidence presented by Burza and Jane, because they were the only two people in the world that when my cows could have been killed. I'm also going to present that my cows have since been rebreeded and I've reproduced my cows. So, without further ado, I'm going to join the chat. Alright, I'm going to start off by saying that this is going to be a short, quick trial for both Jane and Burza in this world. Both Jane and Burza, I require you to have your chat audio shared to the stream so that way all evidence can be presented and everyone can know and hear, and all of this was recorded. This is official. There will be no arguing and no fighting during this. And I will just wait for Jane to join the Minecraft world and then we can begin. Alright, we'll come over here to the center of town and step on the podium. Fine then, we'll just use this piece of wheat to represent you. Alright, so as the evidence I understand it, the only people that it could have been that slaughtered my cows in cold blood was Jane or Burza. The reason that it is only you two is because you two are the only people in the world at the time. I was in my under construction house, so I couldn't see who killed my cows, and I was AFK. I wasn't even at my home in real life. And because it doesn't tell me who killed the cows, it just says that the cows died. I could look for that, but that takes a lot more time. Anyway, it's disorder in the court. I'm the judge here, and you've disrupted me. Penalty. Silence. Now, moving on. As the facts I've gathered that I understand them, I have gathered that the meat that I found in Burza's chests was given to him during a trade. Now, Sock has permanently left the world, as I understand it, so I can't question him, because he's also removed me. So, that leaves me only to trust on Burza's word, which for now I will take that into consideration, and it seems plausible since he does have a fire aspect sword. If he killed my cows with a sword, then it would have made cooked beef. Now, he also had beef, but he already explained his reasoning to why he had cooked beef. Whether it's true or not, well, he hasn't been active that much, which is true. And he also hasn't done a lot of running around, not as much as I have. So it would make sense that he hasn't had to use as much beef. Now, in the case of who killed the cows, it could have been either one of you, Jane or Burza, because in the respect that who was there at the time, I looked in the chat and I saw that you joined for a period of time, Jane. Yes, you were in the world for a period of time. But at the same time, you were on at the time that the cows were killed, because you could have come back, and you weren't that far last time I checked. So,
Can I speak?
granted,
In my defense, I was on and off from being AFK and building my house the majority of the time that I'm on this world.
heard. Now, I'm going, since Burza has given his defense towards this, him and I already had a discussion on this. Jane, now you will present your defense as to why you are innocent.
Permission to speak.
I checked on my cows before I left to go help with my sister with whatever she needed help with. But then when I returned, all of my cows are dead. It couldn't have been entity cramming because I've had a lot more cows in that pen before. There weren't that many cows in there, and most of them were babies. And there was not a single cow left. If it was entity cramming, there would have been a few of the cows left, if even one cow left, and there was zero. So,
Permission to speak.
granted,
Um, in my knowledge, you said to Jane that there was no reason for him to get bamboo, and that he came back. So the fact that he went to go look for it again is a bit suspicious to me. You did. I saw you
you
myself
have
come back
before. You've died and come back. That
multiple times.
you didn't die when you were at when I was gone, however, but that is not to say that you were not far enough to not come back.
And through sources, sorry to interrupt, but through sources, I've also concluded the fact that the second that this was brought up, that you instantly wanted my position. Would you like to explain why? Why?
But at the same time, you know you violated many of the rules that I've had here. Like, I've said, don't go in people's chests. I've said, don't do this and don't do that, and then you've done it. But to be the first person to technically formally ask to be the next police chief or part of the police, and you don't even have citizenship yet, is suspicious.
And also, why were you getting startled thinking that he joined the party?
Mm-hmm.
No, you fully know that. I told you
But
that.
at the same time,
And I said no. Yeah. To which I
technically
asked
speaking,
permission every time.
technically speaking, order in the court. There could have been no one else. I looked at who joined and who left the world. The only people that have been on that were in that world on that day in that stream was you and Burza. It literally could not have been a single other person. There is no
Yeah.
possibility for it. There is no variable for it. But given the evidence and what I've gathered, it's starting to lean
No.
towards you, Jane. I'm not gonna ban you. Okay.
And I could not have. I would only have cooked beef. Excuse me.
Okay, but even so, that doesn't excuse you if you did do it. From what I've gathered, you're granted.
Why is that the first thing that comes to your mind? Prepare for what? Prepare for what? If you were innocent, you're going to be thinking about preparing.
An innocent man does not plead and beg for innocence. An innocent man will sit there and wait. And if judgment comes to pass, then it will come to pass. An innocent man has nothing to worry about. As I see it, you seem very worried, and Burza seems very calm and collected.
Neither have I.
I will say you will not be banned from the world just because this world has other kingdoms and you could go off and branch on your own, but there will be punishment according to my kingdom's rules. What it is, I have not deemed yet. The session is not over. But with the addition of Burza hasn't necessarily done anything purposefully wrong. He has opened my chest before, and I have been pissed at him for it. But that's not technically... He didn't steal anything, and he didn't break anything. Well, that's not true, but...
No. What can I quickly speak?
Granted.
Why is it that every single time we mention anything to do with you, you instantly get defensive? Instantly. Like if you're honestly innocent, you'd be sitting there in silence. Neither have I. Education doesn't matter. Yeah, it's not an excuse.
Burza, aren't you also underage?
Yeah.
See, technically speaking, Burza is also a kid. Age doesn't matter. The personality doesn't matter. It matters about who's guilty and who's not. A guilty person, most typically, especially when they're younger, gets very defensive and gets very, well, I'd say violent when it comes to that sort of thing. And you've been very, very burstful, I will say, in your responses. You tend to cut people off in this, and you seem to be protecting a lie of some sort. I'm going to say that this is deeming that I, in my honest opinion, believe that Burza has done not enough to deem that he would be guilty of this or untrustworthy. There's not enough evidence to deem that Burza has done this. But as we keep discussing this, there's more evidence that piles up to the fact that Jane did it. Because when I looked at the game logs, the cows were killed. They did not despawn. So with that, I believe that this court is adjourned and Jane is sentenced with guilty. Since Burza is the police chief, I will convene with him and I will decide the best course of action and punishment for this. Now, Burza, you may go back to building your house. I'm done here.
Thank you.
Alright, I have to leave the stream, or not the stream, the party for a second. But I will be right back. Alright everyone, well that was a successful court case. Thank you all for watching and being the jurors and witnesses to this court case. And I'll see you all next time. I'm going to be starting to stream up right after this, so I'm gonna keep streaming. I just wanted this to have its own kind of video.